Episode 191 is brought to you by our supporters. If you want to support the show, one of the ways you can do that is by going to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. I want to welcome James Campbell to the Patreon crew this week. And this episode is dedicated to MILF Tower and, of course, all of our top-tier supporters, Gent New, Splimo, Szechuan, Strosity, Mallard, Twisted Soul, J Blaz, Z Space. If you don't want to sign up to Patreon, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/dills where you can buy me a virtual coffee instead. So thank you to Caradoc, What's the Matter, MF Hugh, Piwudo, and Angie666. And last but not least, we have some people boosting the Discord server. And because of that, we now have a unique URL to joining the Discord server. So if you're interested in that, we do a lot of fun events and we play Magic, we play D&D, we do a bunch of fun stuff in there. So if that interests you, and we play RuneScape, of course, it's discord.gg/thewilderness. So thank you to our Discord boosters, Battle Stabs, Anels, and Chick. Welcome to episode 191 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am Dills, and joining me today is Heartless. How's it going?
Dills, how are you? Doing well myself.
Nice. I am doing pretty good. We got, it's an eventful little week we got here. An Android beta sign up is out there, or it's coming out there for a lot of the features that they're going to be introducing to the mobile client. So I guess you get to test them out, which will be happening between November 24th and December 8th. Who knows if that means we'll be seeing these features come into the base game anytime soon, but we're talking about basically a bunch of RuneLite plugins are coming to the actual client. Which probably doesn't matter for the most part, except for when you go on mobile. I think these are going to be freaking awesome whenever we're on mobile.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm excited for that. And then, of course, the old school RuneScape economy. Some people would say it's in shambles. Actually, I don't know if people are saying that. Every now and then you hear people talking about it because prices have been crashing for a bunch of stuff. But it's been on Jagex's mind for a while on how they are going to tackle the future of the economy. And I think they've hired, or at least they were in the process, they probably done already, they hired like real world, bankers, economists to come in to help them with their RuneScape economy. So that's it. So they've got some ideas. They're pitching some ideas of what they're going to be implementing into the game. Plus there's many more to come down the road. Dead Man Reborn Finales rerun. That's happening. So they have signed off on the rerun of the finals. Spoiler alert, not happening in 2021. Oh man.
Oh my god.
January 2022 is going to be insane.
Nothing's been happening in 2021, so
yeah, it's been fun. But the Dead Man Reborn rerun finale is going to be happening in the new year. And finally, they have updated the next rewards, and they talk about power creep, which seems to happen like once a year, maybe we could say. But they've brought in some new equipment.
Very excited to speak about it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it because I was like 6 uniques for it. Sounds pretty good, but they've shifted some things. They've removed some. They added some new stuff too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But of course, before we get into all that, how was the week on the home front for you?
Pretty good. Things are getting real dark up here in Canada in the winter.
Oh, they are.
You know how it is. North of the border, it gets pretty dark pretty early. This afternoon, I was just looking out my room in class. I have a lot of windows in my classroom, and I was like, "Oh, well, look at that! It's getting dark already. It's basically 3:00."
Yeah, I remember it's a weird feeling in the winter when I work from home now, so it's I don't have to deal with it. But you would drive to work in the dark, and then you drive home in the dark.
It's not ideal, but that's just part of living in Canada, I guess.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just been a good week. Like real life wise, not too much has happened. RuneScape wise, Also, not too much has happened. So
I did pretty chill week then, eh?
Yeah, I did do a charity, help out with a charity stream for my old podcast, the Trinity Force Network. On
Awesome.
Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. I missed the stream itself, but I saw it afterwards. You had posted in it. Yeah, what was up with that?
So basically, it's just for Extra Life, which is like a foundation that helps with gamers that, runs charity events to help children's hospitals. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
And we did 2 streams, and I just helped out for like a couple hours. So yeah, I just jumped on, ran some raids. It was fun. I actually got a purple. I just did a solo raid at first, and I got a purple. Oh, I know. I was like, okay,
luck. Nice.
But it was arcane number 8.
Hey, almost double digits.
Working towards those double digits. So yeah, more than half my purples are arcanes now, which you love to see.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we did a big mass after, which was really fun. We had a nice clean mass, and we didn't get any items, but that's okay. We had a fun time.
Well.
Yeah, we had good. Yeah, it was a pretty smooth one. So that was nice to join in the streaming life. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't think I would be the best streamer. I mean, I got some good jokes here and there, but it's really, really weird just like talking to yourself.
Yeah, you got to get into the groove.
Like you're hearing your own voice, right? There's like you obviously someone behind the computer, but you got to get into a bit of a groove for sure. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
you
easy.
almost have to like
It's
prep.
not easy.
I mean, I guess you don't have to, but you should prep some things. Like that's because I used to stream a little bit, and I would have a little sheet. These are what I'm going to ramble on about today. Because I always felt really awkward when I had nothing to say, and you're just sitting there like
just gaming.
Very uncomfortable.
I mean, it's also like you have to find in life too. It's like okay to be comfortable with silence.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something I've found out with my girlfriend because she's a very quiet person. So you eventually over the years have like gotten used to just like silent moments and enjoying them. But for me, I just like to talk a lot. So obviously, help you host the podcast, right?
The podcast genes,
which is one of the many reasons we get along so well. Is because our personalities are opposite. But yeah, you and me though, we like to chat. That's why we're here. Pretty much it. I haven't picked a grind yet, if you know what I mean. As I've sort of mentioned in the past, I like to sort of pick one thing and go really, really hard until I finish it. So I've kind of just been hopping around, and that's not the worst thing. It's nice to take a break sometimes. So I did a little bit of Hydra, a little bit of construction, a little bit of mining. Yeah, it's just been a fun week, and then of course a couple raids on Tobs and Chambers on the side. Man, I also 2 nights ago, me, Koss, and Chick, we decided to go and do some Revenant caves because of the update.
Oh, how is that? Were you guys PKing or PVM? I guess PVMing.
PVMing. So Chick and I were on our Iron Men. So his is like I think level like 115 or so. So he has like really high range level, so he can handle this stuff, and he has decent gear too. I mean, we were in rags, so we skulled up. We were using like magic short bows. And we had a salve EI on, which is basically gives us 20% damage against the revs. And that's what we were protecting item on. And then everything else was just like junky gear, So I was wearing like an archer's helm, like snakeskin boots, the garbage Ava's accumulator backpack, stuff like that. Black D'hide, just basic rags. And we kind of cruised around. We were looking for a place to kill the revs. And because there's 2 of them in each cave now, there's quite a lot.
Oh, cool.
And we were concerned about PKers. Immediately, some guy in like actual max got on me with like a Bofa, full crystal armor. Just like
oh, really?
Yeah, disgusting gear.
Bofa, is that shred in PvP?
Oh yeah, that. Claw is so strong in PvP.
The Bofa, that's cool.
Claws, he's just like actual max, like 200 and something mil worth of risk. And I somehow tanked him dills. I have no idea. I shouldn't have survived. I had 10 HP left, and I made it down to the door. Probably because he wasn't on Ancients, because he has to telewalk me. That's like probably the only reason I managed to escape. So we were a little concerned that it was too hot below the 30 line. So we started cruising around, and we found this room with like the demon and the orc in it. So there were 4 mobs, and Koss came on his main, and we just like chilled there, and no one came for like an hour and a half. It's great.
Wow. And so wait, the 3 is that like a revenant each, or were you all 3 of you attacking one?
Koss was on his main killing 2 of them. I was killing the other 2s, and then Chick was in the lower room killing the pyre fiends, so like the lower level ones, and we were all skulled up. So it was pretty fun. And Koss has a lower level Iron Man too, so he was like testing out, maybe he could be able to come. He's just missing a little bit of stats, but he's close. So we were just kind of testing the waters and seeing, how it was. And we had so much fun. And Chick friggin' pulled an ancient crystal, which is like one of the 4 things that you need 4 of them to make the obelisk in your house. We'd been there for like 20 minutes. He yoinked one. So it's pretty cool, dude. I have to say, like, Skulled, it's like a 1 in 5,000 chance, roughly. I'm just to hit the unique drop table for where the weapons are. And then you've got like a 1 in 5 chance for any of the weapons, and then a 2 in 5 chance to get the amulet. So okay. I mean, it's like 1 in 5K. It's not bad considering their loot is quite strong. I mean, you get a lot of alchables from them. And then it's probably like a 1 in 6 or 7, between 1 in 5 and 1 in 700 drop chance to hit one of those, those like medallions that just give you a shit ton of money.
Oh, like they're like not totems, but yeah, I know what you mean, relics or whatever.
They're somewhat common. So when you're Skulled, you actually get a good chance at these uniques. But
cool.
Yeah, it was good money. We were probably making like $2 million an hour in alks and stuff.
So it is good money, eh?
It's good money. Of course, you're risking quite a bit, though. You got to be Skulled with a crossbow or something like that to get those kind of levels. But I mean, they're back for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So we're going to keep going and just kind of chipping away at it every night until we get something cool.
I always find the revs fun too, because like the loot's exciting. The loot, I always found that like the original revs and maybe this new revision of them, but they're not too hard to kill. You're in the wilderness, so it was a little bit sketch, but they had a chance of dropping some decent loot, and it was always exciting to like get stuff and throw it in your looting bag.
Don't get me wrong. If you did old revs like I used to, the loot is nothing like it is. You're not getting like multiple dragon plate legs or 35 noted manta rays. It's definitely not nearly as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty fun. Like, I had a great time, and there's nothing like showing back up to your world and like there was like a level 100 guy with a blowpipe, and you just attack him until he runs away because you're Skulled up anyways. So you can just rag lower level PVMers out of your world. So we had a good time. Definitely was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're gonna keep experimenting with setups, and I'll keep you updated.
Nice, and get those wildy weapons,
dude. Honestly, what I'm really happy about is the bracelets. They drop them like basically 1 in 10 or 11, and each one of them you crush for 250 ether, and it takes 1,000 ether to, as you know, but for people who are listening, it takes 1,000 ether at the base to charge a wilderness weapon, and then for every charge you put in over 1,000, that gives you like 1 attack, so like 1 arrow for the crossbow or 1 swing for the chain mace. And then let's not kid around. The mage weapon is garbage, so no one uses it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for people the uninitiated, there's the 3 weapons that drop. As you mentioned, there's the mace for melee, which is Crush, which is great for like Callisto and Vedion. There's the crossbow, which is great for Venenatus. And then there's the mage staff, and I don't know why anyone would use it, because
it's pretty bad, isn't it?
It costs ether to use. All of them cost ether. That's kind of like the drawback. You die, you lose all your ether. You keep your weapon, but you lose all the ether. But it costs ether to use, and you need to cast spells with it. Like, you can't. It's not like a trident where you can charge it, and which it should.
If it just had charges, it would have real uses, but it doesn't.
Yeah, you could bring it to Scorpia, but it does, or lava dragons or something, but it doesn't. So instead, nobody uses it because you have to like fire blast or whatever it is.
Fire
you got to bring runes for it.
Tome, and it's very bad. So, anyways, I was getting rough calculations about 3,000 ether per hour.
Oh, okay.
By crushing the bracelets, because I did 3 hours and I got about 9,000 worth of ether. Which is pretty good, right? So that's going to charge a weapon for a long time.
Yeah, it's 1,000, and then once you charge it with 1,000 ether, it's ready to go. Then you have to do additional ether for ammo, but that's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all. So I thought it was going to be quite a low amount of ether that I was getting, but it turns out the bracelets actually crush for quite a bit, so it wouldn't really be a concern. By the time you actually roll a weapon, you'll have charges for days. So you like to see that. Is it worth going for? No, but it is a lot of fun. So, especially on like if you're a lower level Iron Man and you don't have a lot of money, because the actual medallion or whatever they're called, the things that just give you a bunch of money, they're very, very valuable early game. So Yeah, plus it's just I was just saying to the boys, it was like it's just nice to be doing some new content, you know?
Yeah, it's something different, right? And eventually they'll be bringing in a boss, which I think will just drop like 3 chances of loot, but still,
Yeah.
it'll be a boss. That could be fun.
I mean, I hope they add some like extra uniques or like maybe something for like PvPers where you can get like a kit or something that like upgrade, like makes something look cooler, like makes the Revenant weapons look cooler or something like that.
Makes the Xerxian robes look badass.
Oh yeah, that's Dill's drop only. But you know what I mean? Something that like upgrades like
yeah,
a PvP thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just spitballing, but you definitely need some kind of unique to make the boss fun. But yeah, that was a blast. So I'd highly recommend it. You and I are both actually big fans of wilderness content, which is not common for PvP or for PVMers. I would say the majority of people kind of avoid the wilderness like the plague.
It's very polarizing. Yeah,
it is,
you either love it or you hate it.
But I don't know. I just find that it can be an interesting place, and it's something unique about this game. So it's important.
Super unique, and it's like when I played it when I was a kid, the wilderness. I mean, it was a different place. It was live. It was fun. You didn't have to worry about these one-tick switches that KO you and hit over 100. But it was fun and exciting, and everyone sucked. So everyone was on like an even playing field. Today, it's not the same, but I know when I quit RuneScape between like 2007 and 2013. Anytime I play like an MMORPG, I was always like, man, this just doesn't have the wilderness that like RuneScape does. It was always really hard to find. And when games did sort of have that, it just wasn't the same. Like
that heart pounding feeling when you're like, you get a close escape or you just get a huge drop and you have to run out of the wilderness. Like,
oh yeah,
it's pretty awesome. So a unique place, and yeah, I'm glad we went and tested out the revs. So we'll keep going back this week.
That's cool.
And we'll see how it goes. What about you?
Awesome.
You've been doing anything fun?
Well, sort of. So like last week I was talking about, it's kind of like in a RuneScape rut, which kind of happens every couple of months where I just get bored of my account because I'm almost 2,200 total level main account. So you get to a point where the grinds are just really slow and you're just spending hours and hours and hours to go to the next level, and you're kind of just like rounding out your skills to 99, maybe making some money doing raids, but at least for me, when you do raids, a raid like 100 plus times, it's still fun, but it becomes more of a social thing. You do it with friends and stuff. It becomes less fun to like do the actual content because it's just,
you're right.
You've done it so many times.
It's definitely more social. It's like a reason to hang out with your friends in game for sure.
Yeah. Or if like some guys are doing it, you're like, I'll jump in and do it. That's 20 minutes. It'll be fun. Yeah, whatever. It's an experience. So I got kind of bored, and I just stopped. This week, and I guess last week I stopped and I started playing other games, and then I stopped playing other games, and then I came back to RuneScape. But I was trying to figure out what I want to do because I want to play RuneScape, but I don't want to play my main account. So instead of booting up my Iron Man or my Pure that I have, I decided to go the route and make an Ultimate Iron Man, which.
Bills.
I was like, I'm gonna make it. The thing that was always holding me back was there's so much to do in this game. Like it's overwhelming. But the problem with an Ultimate Iron Man is you need to have a path, because you're an Ultimate Iron Man. You don't get bank. You don't get access to a bank. You only have your inventory to store stuff, and then you have your player-owned house and maybe some stash units. But it's very limited of what you can hold. So you kind of need to plan your path out accordingly. Like if you want to get to something, you need to plan everywhere, because you can't bounce. Oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna go do some farm runs. Like, no, because you dropped all your seeds, so you have to go back and get those seeds. Anyway, so it was always very overwhelming and having to like manage these like death piles all around on the game. And this is end game stuff I'm thinking of. I always think like super far in the future, but it always just felt super overwhelming, which is what turned me off from making Ultimate Iron Man. But I decided to make an Ultimate Iron Man, but kind of make one of those snowflake accounts, which is kind of like a term that's been used a lot in the old school RuneScape community. It seemed like it really blew up when Swampletics, his that YouTube series blew up, which was an Ultimate Iron Man who only played within the Mauritania region. And there's so many different now snowflake accounts, which are basically these I don't know, any account that you just put these arbitrary restrictions on it for like really no reason except for like, I'm different and I'm unique now.
Yeah, usually X only, just pick something.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You only do that.
So there's tons of things where it's like, what is it? One chunk. I don't know why I'm using this as an example because I barely understand it. But there's people who would be like one skill at a time, which is crazy. They're like, I'm going to level one skill to 99 and then I can move on to the next skill.
Yeah,
like there's people who are like
the most extreme version I've seen is, have you heard Limport? He's a YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, I might have seen a little bit of it.
So he's the one who does like extreme one chunk. So chunk is basically like, I think it's like a 64 by 64 tile area. Maybe I don't actually know the size. I'm just guessing, but it's a small area, and he has to complete everything in that area. So he started out in Lumbridge, and because there's a wood cutting tutor and there's a defense tutor there who both sell the skill capes, he had to get both 99 wood cutting and 99 defense. And the madman did it. So he chopped oaks into PvP world, like 200k oaks or something, got 99 wood cutting, and then he killed like 500 million men or something, like men and women in Lumbridge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. So the dude did it. So he completed both, and then he just rolled a new chunk. So like everyone around it, and then he just moved on and continued to do that. There's the one chunk, which is like something that other people do as well. Yeah. Their own like little variation. Yeah, spoiler alert, he's currently doing Cal Fight Queen with some like jank ass gear. He's like hundreds of KC in, and he has to complete the collection log.
Oh my god. True. Oh my god.
So pet everything. That's insane. I think they're like 20-minute kills or something, but the guy's nuts. But yeah, that's like a version of it, an extreme version of, Swampletics or whatever.
What's like really common is like area restricted. So like Mauritania is one of them, or like a YouTuber named Verf. He did one in like the Kramja Islands. Yeah. There's like an underground only Iron Man who could only play underground, can never be above ground.
Caveman only. Yeah.
Yeah, caveman only. So there's a bunch of weird ones, and they are pretty enjoyable to watch because it's just like this weird game mode, and it's similar to like when you go from a normal account to an Iron Man, and you're now doing all these weird methods that you never would have touched on your normal account. Doing like a snowflake Iron Man or an area restricted Iron Man, you're now having to do these weird, outdated activities to get certain items. Anyways, it's this like there's a community of it, and there's a listener from the show so shout out to Ohm who also helps moderate our like Discord at the Discord server as well. But he is he's heavily involved in the Snowflake community, where he has his own clan and his own Discord server. And I had talked to him a bunch about it because he has like he does a lot of like 10 HP accounts for his Ultimate Iron Man. So I was like, you know what? I wonder if this could be kind of fun. I'm going to try it. So I decided to do like a 10 HP training no combat skills except for defense on my Ultimate Iron Man. So that would have been cool. It'd be kind of a flex to like, if I were to get 99 defense and keep everything else at their base level, I'd be like level 23 or 27 or something. So if I could find out a way to get like a full Barrows set, I could be like level 20 rockin' Torags, which would be like pretty, I don't know. Again, how I would acquire it, I have no idea, but it would look badass as fuck if I could do that. So I was like trying to think like that could be kind of fun. And I love the idea of like being a low level, having like real gangster gear. So I was like, let's try it. So I figured I'd start playing on that. I'd make this like Snowflake account. But the thing that it helped with was it eliminated a lot of the stuff in the game that like it took away a lot of my choice. Like I kind of get like what do they call it? Decision paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I have a problem like committing to like a Netflix show or something. I spend too long looking.
Yeah, I have that problem in like Chinese restaurants sometimes, and they have like 200 things on the menu. It's like, man,
like I don't know if I want number 47 or number 52.
It's like it all looks good.
I feel you.
Just you pick for me. I agree with you. Sometimes too many choices, or like ice cream stores when they got like 50 flavors. It's like, man, why can't I just choose between vanilla, mint chocolate chip, and tiger. Where are the olden days? I always
are you a mint?
No, I used to be a mint chocolate chip guy when I was a kid, but I think a lot of kids kids love
Damn.
mint chocolate chip, right? Like
really? I hated
really? Okay, so I still like tiger ice cream. I think it's good, but I like black licorice. But I usually just end up going for chocolate, like every time. You can't go wrong. Don't really like vanilla. I never have liked vanilla. I know that's a lot of people love it. Fair enough, but I usually just go for chocolate because it's safe. I don't.
Man, I freaking love ice cream.
Do you?
I have like a problem where like I had to like cut ice cream out of the house because I'll just sit there with the tub of it and I'll just eat it all day.
That's gaming right there. Yeah. I never really buy it for the house, but I like going out and getting one for sure, especially on a nice hot day. Get a cheeky waffle cone with a double stack on top on a nice hot summer day.
That's the way to go.
Walk downtown.
And then you got to deal with the melt, which can be problematic. Sometimes the bowl is more convenient.
True, you just eat it so fast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there it is. But yeah, option paralysis or decision, whatever it's called. There's a saying for it, but it's a real thing. And with ice cream, it's the same thing with an Ultimate Iron Man because whatever my end goal is, you need to like plan it. Ideally as soon as possible so you don't stack up an inventory full of shit and then realize, oh, I need to drop it all so I can go do whatever content.
Yeah.
Or drop most of it. Anyways, I started playing on this 10 HP only account, and it'd basically just be like a skiller. But it was kind of fun because it turned RuneScape from like a RPG game into like a puzzle game. And I was like super surprised by how much fun I actually had. Like all week I was playing just this account. I've spent way too much time grinding on it and I'm making no progress at all. It's actually sad. I did like a 1 week screenshot into the Discord server being like, this is my progress. And I looked back and I was like, holy fuck, that's nothing. It's like 300 total level and that's it.
Yeah, things are much slower on Ultimate.
Yeah, but it's like, it becomes this like really fun puzzle game where I'm constantly on the wiki. Okay, how do I do this? So like, for instance, the big problem I have is that I can't really kill a bunch of stuff. Or if I kill anything, I'm very limited on how many hits I can do. Because eventually I'll grow an HP level or an attack level or a strength level. Or, HP is the main one because I can always default to doing an attack on defense. But eventually, I'll get enough experience to get 11 HP, which is like, oh, your account's ruined. You got to restart. Not really, but you really just want to keep it at 10 just to keep it as it is. So planning what you're going to kill is like super important. But I was like, if I don't have to, I don't want to do it. But that also means like for Druidric Ritual.
Wait, say that one again.
Planning out what I'm going to kill is like super important. That part?
No. What did you call that quest?
Druidric? Now I can't speak.
God, no.
Now I can't say it. The Druid's Ritual.
Druidic Ritual.
Druidic.
Not Druidric.
I always call it
Druidric. Sorry, Dilzad. I have to call you out on the pronunciation at this point. It's literally my job.
This is how we learn. We had Deherox, which was one, and Ardragon was one that I only like. When I started doing the podcast, I kind of trained myself to stop calling it Ardragon and start calling it Ardone or Ardoine. And you know what? You go on YouTube and look up watch the videos of Jagex mods trying to pronounce shit. I'm not the only one. The whole people who make this goddamn game can't do it. So, have you seen those videos?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, they're freaking funny. Like they like butcher some of the names so hard, but like, oh, it's hilarious. They have them all say like Ardone, so they give it how it's spelt, and some of them are like, I have no fucking clue how this is pronounced. I've seen the word, but I've never had to say it out loud. All right, so going back for Druidic Ritual,
nice.
You have to get a raw chicken, raw rat meat, raw bear meat, and I think raw beef. So, you have to get those 4 of them. So I think a raw chicken, you can steal it from the ham layer, from pickpocketing the ham members.
Yep.
Raw beef you can buy from a food store, but you have to kill a bear and you have to kill a rat in order to get the raw meat. So right there, you already have to give away some of your HP experience. But the way to do this is you go to the rogue's castle in the wilderness, kind of where the chaos elemental is, and you pickpocket them, and there's a 1 in like 200 or 125 chance of getting a iron dagger that's poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you would kill the 2 of them. So I was trying to do that, and they just weren't getting poisoned, and I was like kind of getting worried. I'm like, I'm expelling a bunch of experience. So I decided, I was like, you know what if I could get rings of recoil? If I could get a ring of recoil, or if I can get some sort of source of rings of recoil, I could do a lot more quests, because most quests we have to kill something. You don't actually have to deal damage. So here's the problem with the ring of recoil. It's like it's neutral damage. So if I go to kill a Slayer monster and I only kill them with a ring of recoil, I don't think it registers as my kill, because it's not technically coming from me. They patched it for some reason a while ago, I think. So you have to do at least 1 damage. But with quests, most monsters that you have to kill, you don't actually have to get the kill. You just need to kill it. So you can bring your recoils and have them killed that way. So I was thinking, if I can get rings of recoil, this opens up a lot of quests I can do, which will open up more content. But most importantly, I'll get more experience lamps so I can train up my defense. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get... I have to do like the museum cleaning, the artifact cleaning, I forget what it's called, but the specimen cleaning. Nobody knows what it is because you barely have to do it, but it's like 2k defense experience an hour.
Oh God. That's so brutal.
Yeah, so that's because you get these, you have it's 1 in whatever chance of getting a lamp, which it gives you 500 experience and a skill of your choice, which you would put it in defense, or people put it in Slayer. But anyways, that sounds super brutal, and I was like, I don't want to do that, or I want to do it as little as possible. So there's a bunch of quests I should be able to get my defense up to about level 40 or 45 if I can do all the quests, or at least enough of them. It would allow me to. And if I have 45 defense, that's pretty cool. Then I would try to see if I can get Barbarian Assault, get some of the armors from there, because that'd be pretty sweet. I'd be level 13 rocking full Barbarian Assault armor. Anyways, that's kind of like the end goal right now, is to get to Barbarian Assault, see if I can get some of those armors.
Cool.
I'm trying to figure out where to get this Ring of Recoil. There's no way to get rings. Nothing drops rings of recoil, which sucks. And even if I were to get like a sapphire ring, there's no way for me to enchant it without being able to cast the enchant sapphire spell, which requires level 7 magic. So I've decided I'm going to train up to 5 magic so that I can enchant recoils, and then I'll be able to have them. Because what I can do is, once I get to 5 magic, that's only 1 combat level it gives me, but I can then get a Wizard's Mind Bomb, which is a drink you get from Falador, I think, and it boosts your magic by 2 levels. And then you go to the Fountain of Rune in the wilderness, and that area allows you to cast spells without any runes. And so it doesn't use any runes. And the positive part of it is that you don't get any experience. So at level 5, I can boost up, I can go there, and I can cast my enchant sapphire spell as many times as I want, and I never have to worry about leveling it up anymore past level 5. So boom, I got my sapphire rings, which means I can do a bunch more quests. But now where I'm stuck at, I need to get myself the first ring. Okay, so in order to get a solid source of sapphire rings, I need to either make them myself through crafting and smithing, which means I need to train up my mining and my smithing, which kind of it sucks. Those are boring skills to train, especially early on. But another way I can get sapphire rings is through birds' nests from doing birdhouse runs on Fossil Island. So that's a way of getting it as well. But in order to get to Fossil Island, I need to do the dig site quest. In order to do the dig site quest, I need 10 herblore. In order to get 10 herblore, I need to do druidic ritual. In order to get druidic ritual, I need a ring of recoil to kill the 2 animals, which means I am now waiting for the pirate random event to show up. and give me a gold bar so then I can make my first Ring of Recoil.
Brutal. It's like a more extreme version of the domino effect that regular Iron Men go through. Or like accounts, they're like, the most efficient way to do this is to have the shortcut. So then I'm going to do agility. But in order to do agility, I should probably do the hard diary so I could do Sears Village efficiently. And in order to do that, I need this gold ore and I need to make money. So I should probably go do some Slayer. And to do some Slayer, I should probably finish this quest to get a best in slot. So it's like a whole like cyclical thing where, at some point you have to stop and just go and do it.
And the problem is sometimes I'll be sitting there on Wiki doing it. And you're like, okay, then I have to do this, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do this. And then you realize, oh shit, I'm in a loop. Like I can't do it because I'm stuck in this loop.
Yeah, and
There's
you have
no
this
way
like
to get to
huge plan. But that's like part of the fun. So
yeah, so that's why I've been having a lot of fun on it, where it's like a lot of planning and like, okay, so I have a couple goals I'm kind of working towards, but again, like the thought process of like, okay, I got to do this, and then it all goes back. But it's always this like simple task. And then also figuring out what can I even do with 10 HP? What is possible? And so it's been fun.
One of the things I find about Ultimate Iron Man is like one day, like let's say I maxed my main, or my iron, and I had like all the items and I got bored, but I'd probably make an ultimate if I still wanted to play the game. It's already such a challenge in and of itself that I don't think I would add extra restrictions just for that reason. Because like one of my goals would be just to get to the end game, which very, very few ultimates even do. I have like one friend who's an ultimate, and he's like I think he's like rank 5 chambers, a couple other things, just because there's really not that many people that run them. And you just don't see too many like game ultimates. Also, it's very scary, and wiping is like a really like it's just you expect it to happen at some point on the ultimate. Like your internet goes out when you have 10 minutes to go get your gear and you can't get back in time, or you forget your world, or you get PK'd, or there's just like so many different things where you can just lose all your items. It's kind of like the equivalent of resetting on a hardcore, except for that you don't lose your stats, you just lose your items, which could be just as bad,
Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be tough, and a lot of that's kind of like that's part of my worry as well. With like, if I were to be a straight UIM, is if you ever get to the end game, you have a bunch of items stored at like maybe Theater of Blood or maybe at like the Zulrah Death Box, and but if you were to die, you lose all that stuff.
Yeah, like most people use Spori now because you can just click the ones that you want out of it. There's not like an ordering system.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty busted. And it's easily accessible with a farming cape. But like, yeah, if you just make a mistake or you accidentally die, your internet goes out when you're like passing through Somewhere Dangerous, and then you just like imagine you lose, I don't know, Dragonire crossbow, a bunch of other stuff that you had saved up in your death storage. Like, that'd be brutal. I don't know if I'd be able to play again. And then that's the only thing that kind of turns me off the mode. Everything else about it seems really fun, like the planning and the execution. Even the fact that it takes a long time, like, isn't a big deal. Don't mind things being slow. It's a game, like I enjoy the journey. But yeah, the whole like potentially dying and wiping my account is a little bit too much stress for me.
No, and I felt the same way. And I think that's why like putting this weird like restriction, making my account more of a skiller, I'm never really gonna worry too much about it. I'm not gonna have to worry about God swords being stored somewhere or getting a Dragon Warhammer and losing it and then having to grind it again if I ever lost it, because I'm not going to get my attack up. I can never use it. I'm not really going to be doing bossing. This is going to really turn into like a mini game account, grinding out last man standing and stuff.
Fair enough. That's cool. It's nice to have a little project on the side.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll eventually get bored, and then I'll come back to my main account. But it's been a lot of fun, and I have these. I'm never gonna get 99 defense. Like, let's be real. My kind of goal is 40. Yeah, eventually I'll get. This is just to time me over until I go back on my main account. So
fair enough. That's fun though.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun. So I definitely, if you've ever been on the fence, or if you ever thought it was kind of cool, I'll say I was surprised by how much fun I was having when it comes to making one of these restricted Ultimate Iron Man accounts. It really turns the game into a puzzle game where you got to figure out how to do certain stuff that you're like, I can't do this, but then you realize you can do it. You just got to figure out some weird trick or some whatever it is. Anyways, that's been my week right there. Ultimate Iron Man life on the 10 HPer. So we'll see where that goes. If maybe another 100 combat or 100 total level for next week, but we got some stuff to talk about. So, what do they say? Without further ado, should we jump right into it?
Yep.
Okay, so first things first, we'll keep this one short and sweet. They are doing an Android beta sign up for the RuneLite features coming into the base game. So you can go on the website. They have an Android beta form where you can sign it in using your email address, RuneScape name, Discord name, your device, blah, 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 blah. And it will be, the beta will be running from November 24th to December 8th, which, isn't a whole lot of time, but hey. But they've tacked on some interesting, they say small quality of life changes. But November 17th, it's coming up in a couple of weeks, they will be introducing a cap on the duel arena, how much money you can actually stake. So you will only be able to stake 10 million GP per duel.
Crazy.
Which that's massive. Like that's a big cap to throw on there.
It's a big game change for sure.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to have any like unintended consequences for the game at all? Like, do you think people are going to start like doing dicing or something at the Grand Exchange or more?
I think they'll be
gambling in other spots.
They'll be like 1v1. Like you go naked into the wilderness trade. People like show each other money and like do like there'll be some black market stuff for sure.
Yeah. Some underground staking.
So I think people who are like deeply addicted will move over to that. And that's one of the reasons why Jagex took so long, in my opinion, to change the duel arena, is because of like they were worried about the mental health of people that were genuinely addicted to it. There's one of the reasons. I know there are other reasons, but that is one of them, and it's a legitimate concern. But I am very thankful that this sort of like addicting place that you hear so many stories about is now no longer freely accessible with a very common item in the game. You can't just buy a dueling ring and a whip and go there and start staking your money. Like, there will be shady backdoor places where you can go and gamble your money away. It's going to happen. They're going to pop up. I don't know what they're going to look like, but they won't be as easily accessible as they used to be, which means less people will get addicted in the future. So it's a good move for the health of the game. And it should have happened sooner. Realistically, it should have happened sooner.
Oh, I mean, how long has this game been out now?
So long.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I've known. Do you know anyone who's been like? Do you know anyone who got sucked into the duel arena and kind of like sold their soul?
Dude, like more than half my friends that have played this game have been either sucked into the arena and lost all their money, or won so much money that they didn't know what to do with it, and it just ruined. It always ruins your account, no matter what happens. It's the ultimate end game for a main account. You go to the duel arena, and you either piss all your money away and quit and make an iron. You never come back to the game, or you just make so much money. Your friend who made I had like 10 bill or something stupid. I don't know. He didn't have that much. You know what I mean? He had like well over 5 bill. He could buy any item in the game. And all of a sudden, money doesn't mean anything to you anymore, because even the best money in the game is suddenly terrible by comparison to you going to the duel arena and winning 50 bill in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, or 50 mil. You know what I mean? Like
whatever it is.
Even if like max efficiency top is 10 mil an hour, like money has no meaning anymore as soon as you enter the arena. And that's a huge problem. And it just caused too many people to get addicted and just either lose it all, or, I mean, in my opinion, when you go to the arena, if you win or lose, you're losing either way. There's really no coming back from it once you start doing those big stakes.
Yeah, no, there isn't, because you get like it's like a rush, and it becomes like it's like no different than gambling.
Or
I had a friend.
Just your concept of money is gone, right? Like, let's say you go and you get lucky and you win like a bill, you turn like 500 mil into like 2 bill or something, and then you buy T-bow and you buy Scythe and you buy a bunch of items, and then you go start topping with your friends. You're like, well, and then you get like a couple drops. You're like, great, well, I made 50 mil this week, but I made 1.5 last week at the arena, 1.5 bill. What am I even doing? So it erodes your sense of what the game means.
Yeah,
and it's a huge problem.
A long time ago, when I was like wanting to start this podcast, I had a friend that I was playing with, a real life friend, and I was talking. I'm like, we should do the podcast together, and he was like totally on board. And then he got sucked into the duel arena and basically lost his soul. And I like watched him lose all of his money but he would tell me, like, he's like, I figured out how to like predict, and I figured out how to like game the system. Like, it just has to be on my PID in order, so I get the first hit, therefore I have the advantage. And he's like, I know what worlds will give me will give me PID. And it became like some guy who's like trying to count cards, and like, I figured out how to count cards, but they keep losing. And then he lost everything, and then he came back a few months later, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna get back into it. And he's like, hey, I just need some starter cash. Can I borrow some money, like 5 mil, and then I'll give it to you back? I'm gonna triple it. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And then of course I gave him like 5 mil, and then he lost it and then never came back.
It's just very, very hard to watch. I've been in Discord calls where people have lost like everything. And it's just an atmosphere and a feeling like I cannot describe. And I'm not even the person who's sitting there that has just lost everything. I'm just their friend who's sitting by watching it happen. It is not a nice feeling for anyone involved. So I'm super glad that this is being removed. The duel arena is supposed to be a fun place. Like, oh, you get a dexterous prayer scroll and you just go and chuck it. You know, like I understand the concept of even casinos in real life. I'm not a big fan of them. Like, I understand the concept of going and having a little bit of fun. But just too many people fall trapped to gambling, and it has zero place in this video game.
Yeah, it is strange that it's in this game. And I guess when it was introduced, it was harmless, right? It was you're meant to come here and have fun little duels with your friends back in the day, like 1v1. But then eventually, literally, people don't do that anymore.
Yep.
Now it's turned into just a duel, place to stake, gamble.
So I'm glad glad it's gone. And yeah.
Well, we have the cap right now, so people can still stake 10 mil, which sounds like a lot, but people there were staking hundreds and hundreds of mil beforehand. So this is a huge reduction for many people. But that being said, I think they have a long-term plan of actually phasing out the entire duel arena.
I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be happening. But speaking of phasing out the duel arena, all in for the better of tying this into the economy, because we're talking about old school economy, the future plans. So they basically started off saying, first things first, how does the economy work in RuneScape? It's simple. Items are dictated by players, and they fluctuate based on the number of coins available in the game. So if there is more gold coming into the game than there is leaving, then we experience inflation. The value of gold falls, so items cost more to compensate. If the demand for an item goes up, it will rise in price. If the supply of an item is higher than the demand, the price goes down.
Thanks, Jagex, for the basic economics lesson.
I think it's really simple on paper, but like I used to like work on this I do like freelance podcast editing, and I would edit like people's shows who were too lazy to do it. And this guy was like an economist, and he would talk to other economists, and they would start talking about the economy on like this really deep level, and I was like, what the hell? Like it made no sense. Like it made no sense to me. Like I got to this like weird point of like them explaining like the system and debating this or that or this, and I was like, I've what are you guys doing? Like, what's the point of what the hell is going on? And I think like maybe that's part of it with old school RuneScape, where it's like on a deeper level. How do you make it so that there's no recession in the future in this game? It sounds funny, but it feels like that sort of stuff happens in this game. You can like watch the items crash and watch them like go up with the pandemic and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a real economy. Like people,
yeah,
there's items coming into the game and not many being taken out. So
it's very strong, and it's almost like maybe it's like the opposite of what's happening in the real world, where like pandemic hit, everything was like crashing. But in this game, everything was going up because people are at home. I'm like, got a game. So anyways, first things first, they want to introduce a tax to the Grand Exchange. So basically, they want to add a 2% tax that would be removed from the final sale value. So the person who's buying the item sees no difference. It's the seller who is getting taxed on it.
Yep. soon.
So 2%.
Sold rapier for 100 mil.
Thoughts?
2 mil disappears.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty good. I saw some stats that this is going to take like over 60 bill out of the economy a day if things are traded at their current rates. Of course, things maybe be traded at lesser rates if there was a tax, but actually they certainly would be. But a lot of money will be taken out of the game. We're talking in the tens of bills a day.
Which is like, I mean, of course, some people are going to be upset. I mean, like, even if it's going to be hard to merch some items, I think it's going to be harder.
Be upset, margins. But in the long term, you're going to make more money because item values are going to go up, like, significantly.
Yeah, and I think...
also, did you hear what Ash said about when they had the economists come in, or, like, the group of them to look at the game's economy?
No, tell.
And Ash was like, so... It's not a surprise. We've been working with consultants, and they said you should have a tax in your game. That's basically all he said. Was like, yeah, duh, you should have a tax in your economy. It's gonna make it a lot healthier. So I think for the health of the game, like, yeah, we needed a tax a long friggin' time ago. I know I'm a stupid late game Iron Man saying this, but I mean, hey, I have an alt too, and I used to play on a main for like a year. I was always surprised that there was no tax. Yeah, just gets rid of a lot of gold in the game and just increases the price of items. This makes sense.
I mean, and you look at MMORPGs, and this is done all the time. MapleStory, the greatest MMO outside of old school RuneScape. I'm kidding. You ever played MapleStory?
No, I never played it. I've seen it played though.
Yeah, it's like this cute little anime game, and it's so, I don't know why I loved it though. I friggin' loved that game for a while. It's a 2D MMO game. I don't even know how that works, but it did. But they had a tax. World of Warcraft, every game has a tax. Albion Online, which is like a game that's kind of has RuneScape vibes. Clans can own different towns, and they get to control the tax. Then they get the tax, I think. Anyways, that's a different system. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is a tax on like trading goods through like an auction house and just trading in general has always kind of existed in a lot of MMOs. I'm surprised it took this long to bring it in, but hey, there it is. But with the tax, they are thinking of a way to bring in an item sync. Again, there's not a whole lot of item syncs in the game. Sometimes they have like weird not arbitrary ones, but like we'll be talking about it in a bit. But you basically break down or convert one old item into a new one, or you need it to attach it to something else, which makes it become like kind of like an item sync.
But not really. The real problem is there's so many items coming into the game, and we only have a need for X amount of them, and they're not disappearing. So the number's only ever going to increase.
Yeah, for a lot of them. Now with this new tax system, what they think they can do is they're thinking of taking the gold, or at least some of it, that is being taxed from players, and using that gold to buy items from players that are selling it. So essentially, you're removing a bunch of gold, but some of that gold is being used to remove a bunch of items. Now, again, this is just kind of like an item. This is like a thing that they're kind of thinking about. I mean, the tax we're going to be seeing probably before the item sync, or maybe we're going to see them both at the same time. But yeah, they're trying to figure out a way that they can basically automatically be pulling items that are being sold and just kind of like deleting them without the player who's selling them kind of getting screwed over. Which is pretty interesting. It's a way to kind of keep, as you mentioned, kind of like tamping down how many items are actually coming into the game and causing more items to leave.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good idea. I like it.
It's pretty interesting. And next we have additional bank space. So they're going to give us some more bank space, it looks like. Because right now we are capped at 1,000 bank space. And if you get a authenticator and you get a pen, this gives you an extra 8 each. So 100 and what?
No, it's capped. It's 816 is our bank max.
Bank. 816. They've always said for a while that they couldn't add it because essentially adding more bank space, for every account, you're adding this one space, and the back end just can't handle it. But they have, I guess, been working on things, and they are looking to increase it.
Yay!
Yeah, this is really cool. They look like they want to increase it up to a maximum size of 1,200. So that's almost 400 more bank spaces. But the way you would unlock this bank space is by, well, this is what they're playing with right now, which is purchasing the bank space. So to unlock like another 40 bank space, it would cost you 1 mil. And then the next 40 bank spaces would be 2 mil. And the next 40 would be 5 mil, and then 10 mil, and then 20 mil, 50 mil, 100 mil, 200 mil, 500 mil. Anyways, eventually to get the 1,200, the numbers that they're working with right now would cost you 888 million gold.
Yeah, so there's going to be some kind of sweet spot where you're going to get like 250 bank spaces for 20 mil or something like that. So it's going to be good. This is a great idea.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of us, I'm sure as an Iron Man, it's probably worse of hoarding items. I love hoarding items.
I'm not even hoarding, and I'm bursting at the seams.
Yeah, true.
Just because you have to keep everything. Like I have all my stacks of all the different cleaned and uncleaned herbs. I have all the potions. True. I don't just get to go to the G and like buy them whenever. Like I've been bursting at the seams for 2 years. Like culling your bank is just like a regular thing you have to do on an Iron Man, and it sucks.
Yeah, and it's gotta be hard, like making the choice of what to cut.
Yeah, even if you run a tight ship, like it can be pretty hard to keep items. I thought it was actually worse earlier in the game when you had like the quest items and stuff. Like, man, mid game, my bank was just full. And I had like things like, I don't know, like rune items I never knew I was gonna need. It was just awful. It wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, it's tough. I hate doing that on a normal account, and it's so easy to go get them back for me. So I can't even imagine with an Iron Man. Yeah, but you know what? This might solve some of the problems. But next, finally, so they're pulling that as a question about the bank space. Should that be a thing? And the next is a gold sink, but a literal gold. This has been memed around with the community for a while now, but putting a golden sink where you can wash your hands or your dishes or whatever it is, making that something you can construct in your player-owned house. That's the next question. It would cost 10 condensed gold, where 1 condensed gold costs 10 mil. So it would cost about 100 mil to make this golden sink.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so they're pulling that as well. So if you
that's mostly as a joke, but yeah, it should pass.
Yeah, too. Until it fails, and they're just like, oh, damn it. All right, yeah. Overall, I guess to me that all seems good. I feel like as tax, nobody likes taxes, but you know what? We might see nice playgrounds and like parks being installed in the game. We might, the roadways. Maybe we'll actually start getting better roadways between like the Fremenic area and like Sears Village.
Yeah.
Could be good. Maybe we'll see some support systems in place for gambling addiction.
Maybe. Let's just complain about taxes being too high, then complain about social services being too poor.
I can't wait. Off to Balador we go. All right. So yeah, that's all the stuff that's happening there. Fun stuff. Next, Deadman Reborn Finals rerun. Basically they're happening. They're doing a rerun of it. They haven't said a specific date yet, but they're looking to do this in January of 2021. Yeah. So keep an eye on that. January is a packed month. Oh man, we're gonna have leagues. We got Deadman mode. We got Nex.
Oh yeah, Nex, the big one. Yeah, the big change is coming up here.
The big changes. So speaking of Nex, the rewards have been updated since we last spoke about them. So they have a blurb here about power creep. Power creep is basically creeping on how powerful we all get. Happens in every game. Most games, not most games, but some games like WoW, World of Warcraft, they just wipe. Every 2 years, they wipe everything and you start fresh, basically. They bring out a new expansion where the best gear in the last expansion is shit compared to the worst gear in the new expansion. That's how they do power creep. They just make you restart.
Yeah.
But it works for that game.
I don't like that.
Yeah, for this game, beauty about RuneScape is like you can quit for 5 years, you can come back. Lumbridge is still chilling. You don't have to worry about Lumbridge being destroyed. Although RuneScape 3 destroyed their Lumbridge, kind of. Anyways, they have craters and weird shit. But so power creep, they say in this blurb, it's become clear from your feedback that many of you feel it's time for new items to claim the spotlight. Too many items have remained best in slot for ages, and players now expect rewards that will shake up this status quo. To fess up, we've been hesitant to introduce more best in slot items, as doing so inevitably creates power creep. This can result in a number of issues, particularly the devaluation of older content. We want to avoid this at all costs. OSR thrives because old content is kept as relevant as possible. Kind of like what we were just saying about World of Warcraft, how old content in that is
Garbage.
wiped. Now the problem with RuneScape is they have to be very delicate in their power creep because you don't want to be like easily, you don't want it to be super easy to solo bandos. Like eventually it's only going to get easier, but the quicker that happens, the more jarring it'll be.
I mean, Bandos is a joke to solo these days, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, that's ancient content, Bandos, at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And as time goes on, it'll only be easier to kind of solo it. But so they keep saying here, therefore, we'd like to slow the process of power creep where possible, but we are aware that we also need to provide powerful incentives to play difficult content. So we've set a precedent for big ticket items, and we want you to feel truly rewarded for taking down the toughest foes. For this reason, we're making a number of changes to strike a better balance between better rewards for the risks that you'll be fighting next, blah, 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 blah. So basically they said, hey, I guess y'all want to feel stronger, which is fair. It's been a while since we see these massive power creep items being introduced.
Yeah, they've been going with like niche items instead. So things like Dragon Hunter Crossbow, just an example, like very good against one specific boss. Stuff like that. You know, Scythe, really, obviously Scythe is really strong, but it's only good against huge minions. You can't just use on anything.
Right. Yeah, we have things like the Twisted Bow, which is very strong in its specific uses, right? We've seen it a little bit, but we don't see blatantly this is better than Bandos.
Which spoiler alert. We're about
to. We might. So what they want to introduce is Torva armor.
Man, how hype is this? I'm so excited, dude. You haven't even talked about it yet. It's basically each piece. So it has a helmet, a chest plate, and legs. They have slightly better defense capabilities, not as good as Justy, but better than regular Bandos. And each piece has a 2 strength bonus better than its previous best in slot. So the helmet is 8 strength bonus, 2 better than the face guard. The chest plate is 6 strength bonus, which is 2 better than the Bandos chest plate. And then the legs are 4, which are 2 better than the tassets.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay. And straight better in defense. It's a direct upgrade from Bandos. No boots. We're missing some boots.
That's okay. We got Prim still because they're relevant.
Yeah,
but true. I don't think they're going to upgrade boots because boots have already been upgraded. Like it's already a combination of 2 things together, like Serb plus Dragon Boots.
So they'll be bringing Torva. They want to bring in Torva the 3 as you just mentioned, which will be a straight upgrade. And they're going to be, in order to use them, you're actually going to need to basically destroy some of your Bandos pieces. And they're doing this in a kind of an interesting way. They're taking the way RuneScape 3 did it, and they brought out a skill called Invention, which was all about augmenting and upgrading your gear. But by doing that, you need to break down and get components from other pieces of gear. So it was a way to be an item sink because they were destroying gear to get components so they could upgrade other pieces of gear. Seemed to work really well. Obviously, that won't quite work in our game, but they're doing it similar where you can break down Bandos pieces to get components. So a chest plate will give you 3, tassets will give you 2 components, and you'll need to use them to repair the Torva pieces. So the helm will take 1, the chest will take 2, the plate legs will take 2. So basically, you'll need to sacrifice a top and bottom of Bandos to get the full set working for Torva. You'll also need 90 smithing for that as well.
Man, this is such a cool system. Like you said, item sync. You basically need Bandos to straight upgrade, but it also disappears whatever Bandos piece. So this is a really good way to keep Bandos, which is a fun group boss, relevant. In fact, it's probably going to make Bandos a little bit more expensive, I would say. Not a huge amount more because more people will farm it, but it will be more expensive. And it keeps it relevant because imagine Torva just came out. Bandos wouldn't fall off the face of the earth. Like, you have to understand that Torva is now the best in slot armor for melee. You're going to use it basically everywhere if you have it.
Yep.
I'm sure there'll be niche situations where Inquisitors will still be better if you, like, for example, really need to hit Dragon Warhammer specs where the crush bonus is necessary. But for the most part, you have Torva, you can take it everywhere. Not many people are going to be able to afford it. It's going to be so expensive for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Think about how expensive Inquisitors was, and it's not even as good as Torva is going to be. Like, I'm talking like this is going to be like a 1 bill set. It's probably going to go like between 4 and 6 bill for the set on like the first week, maybe more. I don't know. I'm just spitballing based on like what Inquisitors went for. But Inquisitors was like, I can't remember, 500 mil to like 800 mil for such a long time. Torva is going to be more than that. It's going to be over a bill for the set for sure. So most people won't be able to afford it, and that's fine. So Bandos will still be a super relevant set. A lot of people will be still wearing Bandos to places like Theater of Blood or Chambers of Zarek. You know, it's not like you're going to be an entry-level raider at Chambers and have full Torva. This is not realistic. It's going to be one of those things that you can work towards in the late game. And of course, next will be something you can do to make a lot of money. So...
yeah, similar to how you still see people doing Barbarian Assault for fighter torsos, right? Because fighter torsos is something you get before you get your Bandos chestplate, because it has the same strength bonus.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah, and then eventually, if you can get the chestplate, it replaces it, I think, in almost everything, unless you're going PKing.
Yeah, it's better everywhere, except like Nightmare if you don't want to tank. That's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, so and then it'll be kind of similar to that down the road, of course. It's going to be super rare. Like, even now, Inquisitors, you don't see too many people with Inquisitors as it is.
You really don't, and it's not that expensive of a set. It's just because it's niche, like, you're not going to be using it everywhere. Man, Torva is going to be expensive. Everyone's going to want Torva. Of course, it's the best armor in the game. And it's not like, and here's the thing, like, it's 6 strength bonus across the whole set compared to a face guard with a Bandos top and bottom. That's like most places 1 max hit, maybe 2, and it's slightly better defensively. Like, is that going to be worth the like 2 bill that it is? No, but that's just how best in slots work in games like RuneScape. Like, Primordial Boots, what are they, 20, 30 mil? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Dragon Boots, what are they, 200k?
Oh, yeah.
Is the +1 strength bonus really worth 20 mil, 30 mil? No, it's not. The only reason it's so expensive is because it's the best in slot. And the same is going to go for Torva. Like, it is going to be better than Bandos. It's not going to be better for what its price tag is worth. But I think that's okay.
Do you think it is a bad decision to bring out the full helmet when we did just see the Nate is not face guard introduced in 2019, which was the next direct upgrade, best in slot helmet?
Does it have any negative bonuses?
No, it doesn't.
Then, like, I guess so, but it's also going to be super expensive too.
Oh, sorry, the helmet does have negative to ranged and magic attack and then magic defense.
So the Nezi is still going to be good for like tribrid setups. Right, like, say you're doing like soul chambers or something and you're not like super efficient at it. It's still going to have its place. I'm perfectly okay in a world where some items aren't best in slot, yet still have a place. So the face guard is more than suitable for most people's needs. But if you are a super endgame player, now you have an option to go and to work towards the Torva helmet, which is going to be super expensive. But yet still pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's fine, dude.
Yeah, that's fair.
To answer your question.
That's fair. I think I'm okay with like collateral damage in terms of an item that was introduced, 2 years ago. Now going to be getting not shafted, but not being the best in slot. I think that having that is okay.
That's
because
certainly the one that's going to suffer them. Actually, I think Inquisitors Inquisitors without a doubt is going to suffer the most from this. But I still think it's going to be a relevant set. and it's going to become a lot cheaper. So maybe just less people running Nightmare.
Yeah,
But
true.
it's still going to have its uses, if you're doing anything where you really, really need to hit that Dragon Warhammer spec, like, for example, Tecton and Solo CMs, then I don't know, I haven't seen the numbers, but I know Raichu was saying it's not like a huge DPS difference between the two, especially if, like we said, the Dragon Warhammer spec is relevant. So it's interesting. I think, maybe if you're doing like group CMs, you'd have like one person with Inquisitors, one person with Torva that's going to do the melee hand. I don't know, there's going to be like new metas and shakeups, but 6 strength bonus across sort of the whole set isn't huge. It's the max hit, with the scythe, it's 3 max hits, maybe a little bit more if you combine it with other bonuses, might reach 2 max hits. But it's just nice to have a little bit of something in the game, a little bit something new, something that everyone wants, something that's going to stay expensive for a long time. I'm really, really looking forward to this one, and I'm happy they changed it from the mage set, which, albeit I thought was really cool, but is less relevant to all the players for sure.
Sure, yeah. And I think some odd episodes ago we were talking, and I think I was complaining about item syncs and having to like attach one item to another. We were talking about the upcoming raid. I forget what the actual it was the mage offhand, using the spectral shield. And I think I was complaining that I'm like, I don't like how you have to attach these items to do it. But it's funny because like looking at this, I'm like, I'm okay with the Bandos thing. And I was like thinking like, why am I okay with the Bandos thing, but I'm not okay with like other attachments? And I think it's just the way maybe it's done on like on a lore level. Like you're breaking down the armor for like components, and I'm like, I guess that could make more sense versus like if you just took the Bandos and attached it and it became like this morphed thing.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I do think just the way our game's set up, and like we like to keep all content relevant. It's like we talked about it being that necessary evil. But of course, I think most people will be happier that this is happening. So an item sync for Bandos, which means the Bandos is still going to be relevant. I bet you everyone out there who's a main at a reasonable level, like high level, low level, high level or like mid level, if you've done Bandos, pretty much everyone has a great experience with that content. It's fun. There's some big drops. You get to do it as a team for the first time. There's a bit of a tank role. There's quite a lot of fun components to the teamwork of Team Bandos. It's not hard either. I have great memories of it, and I'm glad that it's still going to be relevant, because let's say you're just a mid-level team, you're like level 110s, the big boys are all farming necks. Everyone needs Bandos now to crush so that they can get themselves a set of Torva, so the prices are going to stay stable. So it's still going to be worth doing. Yeah, so sadly it's like a necessary evil, but it's all good.
I just think when it comes down to like the mechanics of how it's actually working, like
I think I agree with you. The lore is important.
Yeah, like having like the Kodai wand, attaching it. I think you attach it to a master's wand. Is that how that works? Yeah. So I was like, like that sort of stuff always seemed kind of lame. But maybe I would be okay if you had to bring the wand.
Yeah, like the Hydra claw, you would just stick it onto the lance to make the Dragon Hunter lance. Like that's a little boring, but you have to like bring it to like a quest place and like dip it in the fire. Like when you make the dragon full shield or whatever, you take the lump into the fires where you finish the quest.
Yeah.
Under the water there at Barbarian Assault, like that area.
Yeah, like if you could take the Master Wand and bring it to like the Wizard's Tower, and you like, I don't know, they zapped the magical power from it, and you had like arcane shards. I don't know, whatever it is. Like that just sounds cooler than just attaching it. But
yeah, I think I agree with you.
Now, before we move on from this new Torva armor, the one controversy, the one thing that people aren't happy about, it doesn't look good. A lot of people are saying it doesn't look very good. What do you think?
It reminds me of the Enclave power armor from Fallout.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
The helmet and the chest plate. They give me that vibe of like big, bulky power. Like this is a brick house. Like you don't want to run into this thing. And then it's got like skinny tights for legs.
Yeah, like skinny jeans. Like,
I think
back when we were in high school,
Bandos is really iconic for its look.
It looks sick.
You got you got the cheeky little mini skirt, and then you've got the cool chest plate with like the exposed chest. Which I remember when I was a kid, I thought Verax looked so sick. Same with Bandos. So I think if they maybe go with more of a Bandos vibe to it, Like obviously this
Yeah.
is a Zeros set, so it has to be different. But some kind of maybe like exposed like piece of armor or something like that, not just like a brick house like Justy. I think they could switch up the look for sure. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I see where people
I think
are
they
coming
need
from.
to. Yeah, people don't like it. I don't like it either. You look like people are saying you look like a stormtrooper. The helmet looks. I think
I
it
could
looks
see
like,
that.
like an
Yeah,
orc.
it's certainly not my favorite piece of artwork, but yet again, it's a concept. So I see where I like the color schemes, sort of like the really dark. They get a little bit of purple and sort of black. So I think they can work around with it a little bit more.
And they will. And if you're worried about it, go look at what the Justiciar looked like when they first proposed it.
It looked awful. Yeah. And now Justiciar looks sick.
Yeah, just go look at it. It's so friggin' funny how bad it looked. Oh my god, I'm laughing just thinking about it. So yeah, there's the
Are you happy? Are you happy with it, Dills? I didn't really get to ask you.
Oh yeah, I think it's fine. The power creep part is hard, but man, we've been playing this game for a while.
And it's not huge, right? Like the power creep isn't massive. It's just a little bit.
No, it's not. And eventually you just need straight, better, like niche items are great, but eventually they get a little tiresome where it's
we don't often get upgrades to like this style of armor. We get power creep in terms of weapons, which tend to be a lot more impactful to the game, like the scythe, for example. Huge power creep when it comes to things like Calphite Queen, for example. Like the DPS increase from using a scythe there is just probably huge compared to whatever like best in slot used to be like a bludgeon. Whereas this armor is just a little bit more.
Yeah, just
it's nothing special. It's just a smidge better, and it's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive.
Yeah, and it'll make good.
Bro,
it'll make the content.
When we get through the other drops, next drops are just going to be crazy. Like across the board, they're going to be insane.
Yeah. Now they do say that I think they pitched the Virtus armor in their last proposal. They are now removing that. Not saying that they won't bring it back in the future, but they're removing it, and in place of it is where Torva's coming.
Yeah, like Virtus was cool, right? But it doesn't get you hyped up like this does.
Yeah, so there's the mage armor. Now the only thing I'll say is, well, we'll get through it, but there's a lack. Again, on a lower level.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Zeros, you would expect some mage gear coming from Zeros a bit because that's where ancient magics comes from, and he was, I think he was part of the I don't know if he was a Majoret, but anyways, they're these like magical being things, and we don't see a lot of mage gear coming from God Wars. It's Staff of the Dead. I think that's it. But anyways, not a big deal. We're getting that's all coming in Raids 3, in the Tomb of a Masket, so we'll get that there instead. Yeah, moving on. The Zerite Van Braces. They are just changing it from 50 defense to 45 defense so that pures can use them. Sure.
Yeah, whatever. These things are still sick, by the way. Like,
yeah, the best in slot Van Braces. So, and again, another straight
upgrade.
Yeah, another straight upgrade. So, all right, cool. We'll take that.
The sought after level of these items is going to be ridiculous. Like all the drops.
Oh yeah, of
worth
course.
Huge money. Next is never going to become irrelevant if it all passes in its current state.
Yeah. So, next is the Zerite crossbow. They're basically removing the Zerite bow, which was the bow that shot multiple targets. It shot the target it shot one target and then it hit, like basically recoiled and hit the two targets around it. So that has been removed, which kind of sucks. That looked like a cool weapon.
It did, but I'm also sick of bows and bow metas. Like we already have the F bow and the T bow, and they're both so strong. We all kind of know that crossbows are a little bit weak, and this thing is sick.
So this is a tier 80 crossbow. And then they even gave a little bit of a leak, but it said it's especially exciting because Next just happens to be vulnerable to crossbows. So we saw the Armadyl crossbow, which is
donks on the Armadyl crossbow.
Sky high in price.
I think it went up to 40 mil or something like that.
40 mil from
23 it was last night.
Oh yeah, it's spiked up. Went from a lot. Yeah, you saw it from 23 shooting up to like 37 in like one day. That's funny.
Yeah, close to double.
So the Zerite crossbow has a special effect, has a special attack and a passive special effect. So the special attack costs 75 energy, and if you succeed in hitting the target, the bolt has a guarantee to activate. Yeah.
So as long as you don't hit a 0, it's going to special attack.
Yeah, which is great. If you want to
Ruby Bolt.
Yeah, Ruby Bolt. I guess that's
PvP
it, right?
PvP as well. Like if you want to like finish someone off with like a Dragon Fire Bolt. I don't know. There's gonna be some options for it.
Yeah. You can even stun people with certain bolts. They don't get used too much though, but it also has a special effect. Sorry?
I was just gonna say mostly for the Ruby Bolt spec, which is gonna be insane.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And then it also has a special effect, a passive effect, where it passively enhances all bolt effects by 10%. So that is makes it even better.
Yep. So you're gonna hit 110 with your Ruby Bolts, which is if something has a lot of HP, which is crazy. Obviously, it's going to be good at next. I imagine it's going to be something like they say it's going to be weak to crossbows, but my guess is crossbows will deal full damage next, and everything else will deal like reduced damage, kind of like with Corp with spears.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I like that, but
it's just a way of forcing certain things to be relevant.
Yeah,
which is like the only way crossbows are really ever going to be relevant because twisted bow and F bow are so strong and accurate. Obviously, you can reduce something's magic level, but then the F bow is just going to shred and be best in slot. So I think this is a way to force one-handed crossbows into the meta, which, I mean, like, it's not the most eloquent way of doing it, but then again, I'm also happy with, armor crossbow and stuff being relevant again, which makes Sarah relevant as well.
Yeah, true. That's right. Revives that a bit. And on top of just the Armadale crossbow being strong at Nex, you'll also need the crossbow combined with 200 nihil shards to make this new crossbow.
Yeah, so buckler also shot up in price.
True. Like nice. You're a big advocate for the buckler.
Don't get me started. My friends are gonna make fun of me. I used to think the buckler was good before it got buffed. But actually my only argument was that it was useful for Iron Men, specifically at God Wars, because there was like range methods where you were using a crossbow anyways. So the buckler's like accuracy was pretty useful. But obviously garbage item before the buff. Except for those specific niche scenarios. But now it's really strong now. Plus 10 strength bonus. It's like 2 max hits. I also think the LE is going to be insane at next. Obviously.
True.
Because
you're all geared. You're ready then.
God Wars Dungeon is all about bosses that deal tons of damage. Like if you think about all 4 of them just dump damage out. And next is going to be even stronger. So I'm just guessing. But the LE is likely going to be the best in slot offhand, probably. Maybe the buckler will be better, but it's hard to say. Imagine
boy.
For longevity
we'll
reasons, the LEs is all very expensive right now. It's like closing on a bill.
Jesus.
Honestly, I think it's such a strange item. I think they'll exempt it from the G tax because it's so rare and not many people do Corp. So it would I think it would rise too much. Because they're really like not that many of them in the game by comparison to other items. So it kind of like pleases its own price. And realistically, it's so niche that it's not really. It's like it is best in slot in certain places, but if they ever actually like made it best in slot, it's too dangerous because the effect of it is very anything that like reduces damage by such a large amount is pretty dangerous for the game, or has potential to be anyways. So I don't think they'd ever make it best in slot, but I imagine it's going to be quite strong at next for sure.
Yeah, it just kind of sneaks in there, becoming like best in slot for certain. Not best in slot, but just really good.
Like you really want, like it's really good in challenge mode raids. Like skipping the rope and really good at like helping you reduce damage at home. Helps you at mutadials. Like it's really like nice to have, but it's not necessary. And I think it's going to be the same at next. Like you'll probably be able to. Buckler will be really good, but if you had an Ellie, it might be better. But who knows? I'm just kind of guessing. If we look at the rest of God Wars as kind of sort of a history of what it will be like. I guess we'll find out.
Oh yeah, and it's coming soon. Before we know it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'll be here. And last thing though, moving on to the last item, they just kind of gave some clarification.
Did we mention the crossbow will also be an upgrade from the Armorville crossbow?
Yeah, we did.
Good. Yeah, it's the same as Torfa, right?
Yeah. All right, now the last item here. It's more of a clarification on the blood essence, because they kind of just, I was confused on how it worked. I just kind of read what the description did. It didn't quite, a lot of questions were asked, but they basically said this is going to be a rare item dropped by Nex and other monsters. It's both tradable and stackable, but you can activate a blood essence, or you can toggle it on or off. And when it is on, you'll have a 50% chance to create extra blood runes. And each blood essence will have 1,000 charges, or you can basically craft 1,000 runes per essence, and then it'll become depleted. So it's kind of a way for, I guess, mostly for Iron Men. So you don't have to sit there doing your, what do they call it, shopscape, buying from the shop to
it's
to charge up the saying stuff.
Great item, but also helps if you just want to make a little bit more money doing blood runes.
Yeah, you sacrifice a little bit of experience for
really all we need
money.
Is blood rune packs. It's the answer, and they just will not give them to us. Well, they pulled them a while ago and they failed because they let Maze vote,
bastards,
and the bastards shot it down. Like, you don't know what it's like to hop through all the worlds, and one Iron Man can buy out like the entire server or like the entire game server worth of blood runes in a sitting. Like, you just hop through every single world, just buy all the blood runes, and it's like, well, now I have to wait until they recharge. And I've done it for half the world servers before.
I got annoyed having to hop worlds to buy pineapples, because pineapples are really good food for the Ultimate Iron Man, because you can note them from the leprechaun, and then you can cut them up and it heals 8. So you get a whole bunch of them, but you have to buy them for the charter ships. And I was getting annoyed having to hop worlds just to buy them, because they only had 15 in stock. So I have no idea.
Just can't imagine owning a scythe and being like going for pets and stuff. Like,
oh my god,
must just be brutal. You'd have to go on at specific times when you know blood runes are going to be in stock, and do it like every day just to get a certain amount of bloods. It'd be so annoying.
Yeah, that's right.
But
oh boy,
you know what? Just give us those goddamn blood rune packs, Jagex, please. We need them.
It'll never happen.
And like, even if they came at a premium, the thing is, like, Iron Man don't care about the price. Like, even if they came at a premium, so they didn't mess up the economy, like, we'd pay it. We just want to be able to buy mass blood runes.
No, you got to spend hours and hours buying.
Like with Chaos runes, you may as well do it with Death runes as well, because so many times I've bought like all the worlds out of Death runes. When I was doing Zulrah, I'd go through and buy like 300k fire runes and 30k deaths. Every once in a while, I'd spend like 30 million runes.
Yeah, that's
brutal days. That's
the plight of the Iron Man. Yeah. Maybe one day, but for now, it's just the blood essence. And you know what? That's it. That is all of the updates this week, or at least dev blogs.
It's a jam-packed week, Dills.
It's a pretty busy week. So let's take a little bit of a break, and then we will be back, and we'll wrap this sucker up.
Yeah.
We are taking a quick little break, heading on over to the Grand Exchange. This is the section where I tell you how you can support the show if that is something you're interested in. But of course, before I get into the shilling segment, I like to butter everyone up by going into some random topic about, I don't know, I guess the market of RuneScape. I don't really know. You're not going to get any like merching tips, because man, you guys remember the bird's nest disaster of 2018? Was it 2018? I don't remember, but it was a few years ago. I invested I think it was a lot. At least it was a lot at the time, like maybe like 15 mil or something into bird's nests. And then what do? They added more bird's nests. No, they did something to bird's nest, and they crashed in price. Which is unfortunate. I was like, ugh. I thought they'd only go up because of Cerebrews being so important for content. So then after like a year, I sold them, lost a lot of money, and then a week later, they remove the amount of birds' nests you get from birds' houses. So they shut up in price, or something like that. Absolute insanity. But hey, that's just the way she goes sometimes. If I could give you a tip for merching items, I'm not like a pro mercher, flipper, but I have made a bit of money since. And you know what? The way I found, it's like finding a weird item. It's probably not the most. You're probably not gonna make a whole lot of money off of it, but you'll make enough. Like you'll make money, a little bit of money, like over a long period of time. And that's with like items used for quests, achievement diaries, or clue scrolls, right? So like if there's like a medium clue scroll that requires a this is a bad example. You don't want to, definitely don't do this one, but you'll find it. But I found if there's like a clue scroll where you need like one of the bucket helmets, right? The Addy H2 helmets. Now, there's like 5 of them, so don't merch this one because what are you gonna do? Merch all 5 of them? That's a pain in the ass. But I found that those will churn out money. You might not make a lot, and it might take a while, but they at least, some items will be better than others, of course, but I found like that category of item tends to actually yield some money because people who are buying it tend to just want it right away. They don't care about saving a bit of money. And then if they're done with it, they usually sell it. Now the emote clue scrolls is a little bit more tricky, I think, because people might be putting it straight into a stash unit, but you could do it for like maybe master clues, like maybe a dragon 2-hand. I've never tried this, but maybe a dragon 2-hander, right? A D2H. That could be a good one. It's used for clues. It's dropped from a lot of wildy bosses, and I think people tend to just dump them. A couple 100k. Anyways, there's a little tip. There's some people who try to get in, you know, with this next update being proposed a bunch and being like kind of revised. People try to get in on like the bandos flips, or you know, because you're gonna need bandos. You need the armored crossbow. But I think unless you're like the first person to read the dev blog and then you go and flip and buy a bunch real quick, like you might be too late, because a lot of people do that right away, and you could be caught in the wave of like, what are you gonna do? Hold it? Now you gotta hold it for like 4 months. And then you gotta hope that you sell it at a right time, because the thing is, there's a bunch of people going to be selling it day 1 of next, right? Because they're hoping people are going to be wanting it. So that's the trick. That's tricky, right? So RuneLite has like a little bit of like a chart you can go by. You can always see that, you know, like the amount of items traded, the amount of bandos tacits that were traded when the next blog came out is like way higher than it ever is any day in between, or any days before or after. So but you don't want to get caught. The thing is, you can get stuck. You get caught in the wave where people are merching off you, but you think you're stocking up. It's crazy. It is crazy. Another just I guess a little side tangent. I've been recently getting into Magic the Gathering to the boys in the Discord. And they got me kind of hooked on it. So I'm playing Magic Arena, and then now I've been buying paper cards. And it's been a lot of fun. But I have a buddy who's into Magic as well, but he doesn't play Magic. He buys packs of cards and then just sits on them. He doesn't open them. He just sits on them, hoping to resell them later on. And that seemed like insane to me. Like, I don't know. I was like, why? But he's hoping it goes up. And then I found these YouTube channels, which is all about flipping sealed trading card packs, and like some of them do tend to go up. Like even if you hold them for just like 5 years, they tend to go up by like however many dollars, and people hold like thousands and thousands of dollars of just unopened packs. That's crazy, because people like invest into it. Like people invest into paintings, right? They don't invest into the cards because they want to play the cards. They invest in it just because to keep your money somewhere. It's like investing into like Bitcoin and stuff, and other crypto. It's insane. Anyways, let's move on. I am not an economist, so I am not half the shit that I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense to me, but other people are listening and like, what are you talking about? It makes total sense to invest in the Magic cards. It makes total sense to invest in the tacits. Anywho, doesn't matter. Is anyone putting their real life money into RuneScape? That's probably a bad. Is anyone doing that, hoping things go? I think that's probably a bad idea. Hey, things just tend to crash. If someone's doing it, I want to hear. I want to hear from it. But anyways, if you want to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. We got some fun stuff there. We do some bonus content, a little mixture of like the weekly live streams that we kind of watch together, and I do a commentary, and then there's a few episodes I do of like a Dill's Diary, which is basically just like me doing like a solo podcast episode, just talking about whatever it is. I actually kind of really like doing it, so I might just start ramping that bad boy up. But anyways, yeah, that's on the Patreon. But thank you to James Campbell for signing up to Patreon this week. This episode is the special shout out of this episode is to MILF Tower, and all of our top tier supporters are Gentanu, Splemo, Szechuanstrosity, Mallard, Twisted Soul, J Blaz, Z Space. Thank you guys so much. But hey, you know what? If you still want to support the show, but you don't want to use Patreon, that's quite all right. You go to buymeacoffee.com/Dells, where you can buy me a virtual coffee. I've got one right here in it's an Iron Man mug, but this thing is massive. It holds like 4 cups of coffee. It's awesome. So thank you to Caradoc, What's the Matter, MFU, P Wudo, Angie666. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for keeping me caffeinated this week. And of course, I was absent-minded and never included this in the past, but wait, we have to start including it because we have a Discord server. A lot of fun stuff goes on there. We play Magic, we do fun events. Bingo's coming up. Bingo is coming up. That's a fun event that people love. We had like 60 people turn out last time. It's massive. People have a real great time. So we do a bunch of fun events and stuff, and play even other games. I was playing Escape from Tarkov for a while. I've kind of slowed down on that game, but that's on the Discord server. And because of our awesome Discord server boosters, we now have a unique URL. So anyone can join by typing in discord.gg/thewilderness, and it'll bring you to the server. So thank you to Battlestaffs, Inels, and Chick for boosting the server and getting us that unique URL. You guys are awesome. All right, that's it. Let's get to the end of the show, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We're back. I guess, that's what we're talking about. If you enjoy the podcast, you want to hang out with us and hang out with other people who listen to the show and maybe learn how to raid and do other fun stuff, maybe hit up the Revenant caves with some people. Not a whole lot of people doing that, but you might find a few. We have a clan in-game called Clan Wild. We have a friends chat, Wild CC. Used to be called the clan chat. But I definitely recommend coming to the clan. The friends chat, I forget it exists sometimes. And I just find like my Ultimate Iron Man, I totally forgot to jump in there. And I was like, oh shit. But people are hanging out there. So we also have a Discord server. So if you want to join that, I do have to say shout out to Battlestaffs for boosting. Battlestaffs, Chick, and Nels, you guys are great for boosting the server because we now finally have a unique URL. So you can join it from discord.gg/thewilderness, all one word. The link will be in the description here as well, so you can use that to get in and come hang out. And Heartless, you've been working hard on Bingo.
Oh yeah, we've started again. We started the prep.
The prep has started, so join the Discord so you can, if that's something you're interested in partaking in.
Yep.
Always a big turnout. Should be great.
Always fun. Best time ever I had playing this game is during Bingo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be great. We'll tie you over, but for the all the updates coming out in January. So lots of fun to be had there. Join the Discord server. It's also linked on Twitter at TheWildernessRS. If that's something you're into. I had a few people join the Facebook group this week. We have a Facebook group. It doesn't get much action, but it's out there, the Wilderness Podcast. But finally, we have an email, thewildernnesspodcast@gmail.com, where you can write in and send us whatever it is. Ask us questions or tell us something that happened to you in the game. And we usually read them. Anything else you want to shout out?
No, not really. I found a good music track this week, though.
Oh, sweet. Let's get into it. Let's hear it.
All right. So when I was doing the stream, I didn't listen to music. I was using the in-game sounds, which I never do. The only time I really use sounds is when I'm doing Theater of Blood or when I'm doing the waves in Inferno. Besides that, I don't really listen. I never listen to the music. So I turned it all on and I was doing raids. The track Upper Depths is actually really quite good.
Ooh, Upper Depths? Oh,
Upper
I see.
Depths. Yeah. It comes from the first first layer, the first floor in
that's a good.
Chambers.
Whenever I'm raiding, I listen to it. This is a good.
Yeah, it's
track.
a good tune.
Upper Depths unlocked upon entering the chamber of Chambers of Xeric. Came out in January 5th, 2017. Yeah, great stuff by Adam Bond. So
Adam Bond,
yeah, pretty
legend.
good tune. All the tunes around the Chambers of Xeric are awesome. So yeah, I always listen to the music when I'm ripping it in there. But all right, that does it. Yeah, thanks for everyone for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.